Since everyone else is doing spooky-themed videos for Halloween, I figured I would cover something aggressively adorable to act as a sort of counterbalance. So, A Hat in Time. A quick description and a comparison to get us started. Much like Yooka-Laylee tried to capture the essence of N64 platformers, A Hat in Time tries to capture the magic of the GameCube. The first word I think of when it comes to this game is somewhere in between fun and downright whimsical. The game oozes with atmosphere and style. Everything is colorful and adorable and fun and crazy. If you can play this game without once cracking a smile or widening your eyes, you're either deeply troubled or inhuman. Seriously guys, it feels like a Care Bear detonated in your brain. This game is good enough to warrant me going over the negatives first, so here we go. Quick preface, this game is a Kickstarter game with a production budget of comparatively peanuts, so this first point is mostly forgivable. Sometimes it's a bit jank. Collision is awkward in some places, but for the most part the game runs very smoothly and runs consistently so. My largest complaint about this facet of the game is the wall cling or the wall jump. Considering how far everything else takes you, those two options feel so limited. You can only jump at one angle off of a wall, you can't jump or dive afterward, and it only launches you a little bit. It's especially frustrating because you'll randomly cling on to pieces of geometry that you didn't mean to. I think these options need to be there for the game to feel fluid at all, but they should have been more fleshed out. You really only use them to string wall jumps together in specific areas the game wants you to. Considering the care that went into the rest of the movement options in the game, it's incredibly out of place. Another complaint that I have about this game is the length. My first playthrough took me around 10 hours. This is playing at average speeds, going through each level, getting some extra collectibles, not too many, hurrying the last couple of hours towards the end of the game to complete the story. I got really into it. The definition of a casual playthrough, in my opinion. The game does offer moderate amounts of replay value, but so many side missions and extra collectibles balance that out. I plan on 100%ing it, which will add significant amounts of time, especially considering how bad I feel I am at the game. It'll probably double my play time, assuming I continue without a walkthrough. It still felt short despite all of this. When I got into the manor in the icy part of the forest and I realized I had seen every character on the logo, I knew this game was not far from being over. You only need 25 timepieces to fight the final boss. Also, the replay value isn't immediate. Replays of the game are probably best done months apart, much like a 3D Mario. Alrighty, a quick personal preference. The visual style that they went for worked on so many levels, except for the faces of a few characters. The player character and primary antagonist have 3D models, but like 2D anime faces. And again, on some levels it works, but when you look at other characters like the Scottish train conductor, the movie director bird, or the contract-giving purple ghost demon of the forest, both have 3D faces. It feels like a cop-out or something limited by its Kickstarter budget. That's really it. Now let's move on to all of the positives of this game. Okay, this game is so cute and pretty and fuck dude, all of the title screens they put up before each act and the expression of the characters, the fully voice acted dialogue and the everything. The title skins are cute, the voice actors are incredible. Like, listen to the Scottish guy.
You saw the Express Owl all by himself, with a hatred for society and its rapidly increasing progress of transportation. You strike down the first passenger you saw. His body laid like a mannequin with blood spilling everywhere and the smell. It woke your inner demons. Then you tore off his limbs and ate them one by one like an animal lusting for blood.
Everyone has such character. In the second world, there are these crow detective fucks who ask you a bunch of personal questions, and they don't even try to hide it. They just have the voice actors mumble over the personalized part of it.
The mighty savior of justice.
In the same world, in the same level, you have to pin a murder on somebody. You're always right when you choose. You can pin a cardboard cutout or yourself. I'm gonna spoil some of the story for you real quick to demonstrate a point. So skip to the time on the screen to skip it, but fuck you for pretending to care. So when you meet Mustache Girl, your friendship bar fills up about halfway. The first time you see it, you figure it's some sort of neat mechanic. It's not a mechanic. When she becomes the antagonist, the bar goes backwards off screen and slams enemies on your screen. Fodder enemies are adorable too. There are these like little sleeping raccoons and these little birds and mafia people, and the whole game has this pungent stench of too much style. I love the shaded cells. I love the character expressions. I love everything about the presentation of the game. Every detail in the world and character models is as polished and smooth as my segues to the next portion of the video. Alright, I'm gonna ask you a question. Have you ever played incredible gems like Mario Sunshine, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario Galaxy, Spyro, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, SpongeBob, Battle for Bikini? Yes! Then you do that. You platform and collect stuff. You solve simple puzzles while platforming and collecting things. You're talking to people while you platform and collect things, admiring the worlds while collecting shit and jumping on platforms, with extremely simplified easy combat interspersed wherever it poses a threat or impedes your progress. Sometimes enemies are basically actual stepping stones for your platforming. For some reason, enemies actually never really feel out of place or just sat there for no reason, even though they're usually just in between two platforming segments. I guess they're supposed to act as a sort of downtime since the combat is so uninvolved. The game has some of the most fluid motion I've felt ever. I really like platforming. I'm pretty good at it, and A Hat in Time not only makes me feel giddy, but badass. So your movement options are as follows. Analog directional movement, a jump, a double jump, a dive jump where you cancel your dive at the end for a bit more float time, extra control, and extra height. Dive jump thing is something I've actually not really seen executed in a game, at least not as more than an afterthought. In addition, if you get really good at timing, you can cancel your dive right when you hit the ground to gain tons of speed. You can also cancel most landing lag by timing a jump right when you hit the ground. All of this is indicated with a sound effect and a nice clear visual. Oh, and later in the game, you get a grapple. After grappling or air attacking an enemy, you get your double jump and your dive back. The world also has these balloons or sandbags or whatever it is in that particular level that you can use to extend your movement a little bit. Sometimes these are laid out in a way where you can just hold forward, but it feels really good and it's used sparingly enough that it feels like the devs just wanted you to broaden your smile for a little bit, have some extra fun as a reward for getting this far in the level. The game is extremely good at encouraging you and giving you little miniature rewards. Nothing ever in this game felt impossible or enraging, but also never felt mind-numbingly tedious or easy. Usually we talk about game balance in form of weapons or characters, making sure one strategy isn't completely optimal, but this game is extremely balanced in how forgiving it is about mistakes that you've made. It's also got difficulty and its curve nearly perfected and smoothed. Speaking of smooth transitions, I have yet to talk about the hats. So the hats in this game are pretty neat, as they should be. They're in the title. There's a collectible yarn and you use it to craft new hats. First you have to find at least one kind of yarn for the type of hat that it is, then you collect enough yarn to craft it. Sometimes, especially early on, it's flipped. You can use any yarn to craft any type of hat, so you can be collecting all of this yarn for a hat that you already have, find the new type of yarn, and instantly have a cool new ability. Both ways are equally exciting, as one has this build up to it as you're scrounging together all the yarn you can find to get a really cool new ability you've had a clue to the name of the hat for quite a while. The other is an instant payoff, as you'll usually find yarn at a place that the hat is immediately applicable to. Usually the hats don't just accentuate your platforming, but your puzzle solving or collectible grabbing all at once. Use the sprint cap. If you jump while sprinting, you won't be able to double jump, but you get an extra fast, extra long jump and maintain your dive. Use the ice cap. You can slam down hard on these springboard things, launch to another area. Use the brewing cap. You can blow up certain barrels and tombstones and stuff, get health and lots of green. Use the fox cap. You make platforms and walls disappear and or reappear for a short period of time. They aren't just added on gimmicks. They work together to make the base mechanics spiced up for a little bit, and they obviously aren't forced in either, being a little bit redundant now. I also love the little hat flares you can get. This Neko looking one for the ice cap is my favorite, but the ladybug thing for the sprint cap is a pretty close second. Of course, it isn't just hat flares. You can get skin recolors or extra bits of soundtrack or a whole bunch of aesthetics things. I'm getting ahead of myself. You get these aesthetic changes through a different collectible called relics. There are stands all around your ship you assemble multiple relics on to create a full sculpture of something. When you assemble a set of relics, these things called time rifts will appear in your worlds, and they function similar to shooting stars in Galaxy or floodless levels in Sunshine. You get a photo to vaguely identify where you go. You travel there and then you find the time rift. Time stops, you're transported to an alternate space where you complete a platforming challenge and collect a timepiece, which, by the way, real quick, blatantly from Sunshine. Even if Sunshine didn't come up with these spinny things, the cap outside space is definitely drawing too much inspiration or trying to appeal to your "remember Sunshine" side. Moving on. You roll for your reward afterward. You get 3 tries. You can claim your prize at any step or re-roll twice if you weren't satisfied at first. Basically, no collectible is there for just a number on the screen. Every single one serves a purpose, sometimes multiple. That is the overarching point here, since I know I didn't demonstrate it clearly enough. It's a lot like the whole game, really. Everything is well thought out. Nothing is redundant or pointless. Very few things feel out of place. The most noticeable of which is an entire world. Alpine Skylines is a fairly crazy departure from the rest of the game. So here's the deal. The rest of the game has a hub world and a level select as a UI component. Alpine Skyline is a free roam area, and I can't decide whether I love it or hate it. I certainly love the introduction to it. Getting there was... I audibly yelled, "What?" at my screen. It's very cool to see something like it in the game, but it's streamlined to basically be a level select. Every path you take is linear. After you blow the first horn to open up these clothesline things. Let me play it out for you. You start here, run to one of the few clothesline looking things, ride it to a platform, solve a puzzle on platform, blow a horn, ride that clothesline to a big ominous looking thing that gets a title screen, solve a puzzle and platform your way up a thing, grab a timepiece, cutscene, fade back to the start area, run to the clothesline thing, ride to platform, solve puzzle, platform, blow horn, ride new clothesline, tall thing with the title screen. Stop! Okay? The most amount of variance is if the thing at the top has more combat or puzzle solving elements in between the platforming. The whole level gives this Zelda vibe. Not the cool Breath of the Wild Zelda vibe, but the streamlined Ocarina through Skyward Sword Zelda vibe. It even has a climax where the world changes and you've got to revisit the same places with some neat twist. Zelda obviously didn't invent that, but bringing it all together like this, it feels very Zelda-like, and while I would have loved for them to get a bit more creative with it and make it a little bit more of a wild departure, I don't think it would have been the right decision. So I just wasted your time and my time for no apparent reason. God damn it. The music is good and I like it. Everything was serviceable, but nothing really to write home about. Your final boss fight was super cool, albeit trippy and difficult to follow, especially since it locked your camera to always face the boss. It hadn't been done for an entire sequence like that before, so it was off-putting, but regardless, it worked actually very well, because there's a cool little victory thing where you're constantly being healed by everyone in the world killing themselves. Seriously, no joke. And although it isn't technically a boss fight, I couldn't fit it really anywhere else. The mansion in the forest has this creepy lady, and she's legitimately terrifying. It was a little out of place, but still a very welcome addition. Do you like happy visual styles? You like collectibles? You like platforming? You like puzzles? Play A Hat in Time. Do you like compelling stories and mini-narratives? Do you like fun characters? Do you like a kick-ass soundtrack? Play A Hat in Time. It's very well priced at $30, and depending on your preference in games, it may be a bargain steal for $30. I didn't grow up with Banjo, Mario 64, or Sunshine. I grew up with stuff like Super Monkey Ball, every Zelda game under the goddamn sun, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. As such, I had no nostalgia fueling my love for this game. For those who might have that, A Hat in Time is perfect for you. And for those of you in my shoes, give it a shot. It definitely won't disappoint. As reductive as a point system is, this game would have to get an 8 out of 10 from me. Great job, Gears for Breakfast. I really look forward to your next project. Hey y'all, hope you liked it. This is actually the biggest one I've worked on to date. I hope it came across that way. Despite what you might think, a lot went wrong in the production of this one, whereas the other ones were just unpolished pieces of crap because I was lazy. Also, transferring PCs, I forgot to drag along all of my ghosty assets, so I'm basically starting from the ground up in this video. It's good though, because I still have like relics of crap I made in Camtasia that I kept around for convenience. This forced me to get a little bit more familiar with Premiere, and all that. But anyway, thanks for your positive comments in the last couple videos, by the way. I'm still kind of experimenting, and my last 2 videos, like I said, were complete garbage. So I'm gonna set higher stands for me. For myself, rather. Anyway, stay safe, stay sane, y'all. Love ya.